Hey everyone, it's Amanda with the Happy Arkansan. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys so much for subscribing to my newsletter and getting this awesome freebie. And I hope that you guys enjoy this a lot and that you get a lot of useful information out of it, because Canva is one of my favorite tools to use for my Pinterest account, because Pinterest is a very visual platform, and so it's really hard to get traction on Pinterest without great Pinterest ready images and without having like a visual presence, a nice visual presence on Pinterest, because people want to pin things that are visually appealing to them. And so Canva makes it really easy to make those awesome, beautiful vertical pins that are great for Pinterest sharing. So first and foremost, we're going to jump into actually my Pinterest feed, because I want to show you guys something. So as you see here, this is a square image, and this is the square image next to a long vertical image. And this is a rectangular image right next to this super long-winded, kind of longer than what I would normally pin or normally use as my pins. But as you can see, this is super long. And this one that's kind of more normal, or this one that's kind of more normal, this next to this and this doesn't stand out as much. And definitely this doesn't stand out nearly as much as this huge vertical image next to it. So these horizontal images seem nice, but you're taking up so little of the screen. Like if I think about all of these other things and this color here and these colors that bring my eyes to these things, like there's nothing good, like this pin is just a pin. I would have hardly ever noticed it unless I was looking for pins that aren't vertical, which I'm doing right now. So when I'm looking down my feed, the ones that draw my attention are the ones that are colorful. They're actually long. They actually make you pause and think about them. Like all of these like tiny ones, like I don't notice them as much in my feed. You know, I have all of these longer images, and those are the ones I'm actually going to notice as I'm going down my feed and I'm pinning things. So you want nice, big, vertical images. And so I'm not telling you to go super crazy. You might not want to do something like this. It doesn't have to be this long. But I'm getting a lot of promoted pins right now. Sorry, you guys. But you might want something like this or like this. You know, you don't have to necessarily do the huge long things. But I'm going to show you Pinterest, the Pinterest ready image from Canva. So there are so many designs that they have. So they have stuff for they have their popular designs, which Pinterest design is one of those. That one's for social media posts, documents, blogging and ebooks, marketing materials, social media and email headers, events and ads. So all of these different sizes that work best for those platforms. And their Pinterest image is really well sized because it is one horizontal, it's a vertical image, so it's like a nice lengthy image, but it doesn't go too long. It only is about 1,102 pixels long and about 735 pixels across, across. So it's not super long, but it's a nice size graphic that'll actually get people to click on your name or on your page. So we're going to build a pin from scratch now. I have a Pinterest graphic up, and we're going to build something from scratch. I have some awesome stock photos in my in my folders here. I have lots of folders filled with lots of different stock photos. And we're going to take some from Ivory Mix. This is one of my favorites. I have about 200 of her photos loaded, and I actually have more than that on my computer, but I have 200 of them loaded onto Canva. Because I'm obsessive about my stock photos. And we're just going to pick a really nice one to start. So this one looks nice, and it's kind of already sized. So what you want to do is you want to take the corners, and you want to drag until you kind of get the placement you want. And these guides will kind of guide you if you want. And I don't really use the guides for things like this. But if I was making a square image, I would probably use the guides. If I was trying to make a rectangle and I wanted to make it center, I would definitely use those tools a lot more. So, we somewhat have it placed in a similar way to what we would want. So now, you know there are other things you can do with this. You could make it the transparency. And I play around with transparency depending on how like my text is being placed. So I'm not going to do that right now. But that could be something I might want to do in the future. You can also filter this. So there are different filters you can use. You can up the brightness and contrast or advanced options for like tint, blur, X process, vignette, filter codes, like all kinds of stuff. You can also flip it horizontally or vertically, or you can just trash it if you decide that's not an image you want to use. And also, if you like want to make multiple pins at once, you can do this and copy it. Like once you have your pin already done, you can just copy it and make multiple pins. And then when you download it, you can just choose which one you want to download. So you can just say 1, 2, 3, or 4. So you don't have to download them all, or you can do it all at once and it'll give you like a zip file with all of the pins. So that's cool if you want to make multiple in one and you just kind of want to change the colors or something. So we're going to delete that. So we are only working with one pin. So now we're going to go into elements because I really like using the shapes. So there are different shapes here, but what I like to do is I like to use the outlines. So if you scroll down a little further, if you scroll down past like the regular shapes, they start showing you like outlines, maybe, if it'll load. So that's like a regular shape. That's also a regular shape. I can't see. Okay, so here's like an outline shape. And I'm really looking for a specific. Okay, I think this is the regular shape. Nope. My shapes are not loading, and I don't want this to take forever. Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is a regular shape. And because I think Canva, I have like my colors loaded, it's going to automatically show pink because it's like my main pink. But depending, yours might not automatically do this. So obviously we're going to center this a little bit better. And we're actually going to pull it up and pull it in a little. I don't really like. And then we're going to center that again. And we're kind of see where we are. Wish we were a little more tucked in on the inside. That's a little bit better. Okay, so I can also change this. So once you get into here, like I have my pinks already kind of loaded. This is my color palette. I can add other color palettes, and I have my other color palette for my other second block. And so I can just kind of choose the different colors that I already have loaded, or I can load some different ones. So we're just going to make this one pink. This pink, though. Okay, and so now I want to add a different shape. I want to add a solid colored shape, actually. And this is where I'm going to put like my name. So this is a different pen option you can do. So you could really like just squinch it and pull it in. And then make like really squinch it down. Squinch it down some more. And you probably want to make it the same pink because I have two pinks in my thing. Squinch it down a little bit more. you can make that a part of it. Might want to squinch it in a tiny bit on each side so it makes more sense. And then you can do that. And then you can like zoom in over here a little bit so it's a little easier to see. And here's my mantra set, which is a font already loaded. I think this is a Canva for Work feature, so you might have to you might not see this right here on yours. I'm not really sure what is Canva for Work and what is not anymore. So you might want to have your URL, you might not want to have that, and then you can change the font color of this. This is also a lot of Canva for Work stuff, which I think people can add colors even if you're not Canva for Work. So with this I have caps locks, but also you could also just AA, and this is uppercase, but I have mine caps locks. You can bold. You can italicize with this particular font. You can do text spacing, so you can make the letter spacing and the line height a little bigger and different. You can copy it, you can arrange it, so you can move it back or forward. You can also make the transparency, so it's more like a watermark. You can make it, you can add a link to it, or you can delete it. Obviously, you can change the font and the size of it as well. But this is just the start of the pen. So we're obviously going to want to make it as centered as possible. And now we're going to kind of want to zoom out again so we can kind of see more of the pen. And so now we're going to add the text on the inside of this pen. So this might be the start of what I use for my blog. So let's just use that. So I have yet to name this blog, so we're just kind of wing it. I like to use playlist as my like top fonts. So five tools. So obviously this is really tiny, so we're gonna make it a lot bigger. So I use like a big, huge wording to begin with at the top. And then I use Montserrat to do this. Okay, so we want to do that, and we also want to make it a lot bigger, this font. So then we can use this to really kind of make sure everything's lined up. Use our things to line everything up. And what I could probably do here for this one is make this pink. And then maybe bring this down a smidge. I don't like having that. So, and maybe I might also want to transparent size this background a little bit so that this stands out a little bit more. And this is a great pen that I could use for my Pinterest pen. And obviously you also want to go in here and design title, change it a little bit so that it actually makes more sense. And also I might want to change the title a little. It depends on how I feel like once I get through. So the great thing about Canva is once you save this image, it's loaded into your images, your image library here. So I could close this out because it's saved and refresh this a little. And even though that peer review is saying it's generated, it just does that sometimes. But you can usually just go right back into Canva and see the exact Pinterest pin you just made. So this is an awesome Pinterest pin that I just made, and it's super simple. I can download it as soon as I want to. I can download it as a JPEG, PNG, PDF, and standard, or PDF and print, depending on what you want. If I was designing like an ebook cover, I'd use PDF, but since I'm designing a pin, I use PNG or JPEG. But yeah, so this is just an awesome, easy way to make a Pinterest pin in Canva, and I hope that you enjoyed walking through this process with me and making this pin from start to finish. It's super simple. You don't have to do too much. It's really simple and intuitive, and if you need help, I'm always here to help you out. But creating Pinterest pins in Canva is pretty easy. This is just a really basic Pinterest pin, and it'll get conversions, it'll get people clicking on it. You know, you can play around with transparency, you can play around with fonts, you can play around with whatever you want to play around with, sizes, how everything works, and you can just make it how you want to make it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this little tutorial and that it helped you out as you're building anything, and just play around with Pinterest. Play around with Canva so that you guys can make great Pinterest pins that attract readers to your blog. Because Pinterest is very visual, so you want to have great Pinterest pins that draw people in to your blog. So thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!